Hello. I am the Linux Mensch. The other day, a viewer asked me how to install Virt-Manager, so I pointed him to my video that I made, and afterwards I realized that video was from last December. So I thought it's time to do an updated video. So today I'm going to do a new video on how to install Virt-Manager in Arch Linux. And the reason why I'm doing it in Arch Linux is that installing Virt-Manager in Linux Mint or MX Linux or Ubuntu is easy. You just go to the Software Center and download it and install it, and it's up and running. But in Arch Linux, it's a little more complicated. So today I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's get to it. So today I'm in a virtual machine of Arch Linux with the awesome window manager. And what I'm going to do is open up a terminal. Let's go to my favorite terminal, which is Xterm. If you don't have my Gitlab Repository, I suggest you get it. And you could download it like this. Git clone https://artibus1/ and I'm doing that wrong. gitlab.com/artibus1/mensch.git. Hit enter and download my repository. And that command, by the way, is in the show notes of all my videos. So you can go to any one of my videos, go into the show notes, grab that copy that command from my show notes and paste it in your terminal, and then download my GitLab repository. And if you already have my GitLab repository, you should update it because I'm always making changes to it. And to do that would be cd into mensch and just do a git pull. Oh, and I already made changes to it. So since I've been in this virtual machine, I've made changes to my GitLab repository and it updated it. So now it's updated. And if you do a git pull and get this message, it just means it's already up to date. And the reason why I'm asking you to download my GitLab repository and update it is because I have instructions in there on how to install Virt-Manager in Arch Linux. Let's clear the screen. So now we're going to cd into my mensch folder. We're going to ls it, and we're going to cd into this arch folder. Okay, so let's cd into arch. Let's ls it, and this is the file that we want. We want virt-m install text. So this is the text that explains how to install Virt-Manager in Arch Linux. And let's clear the screen. Let's less virt. Okay, I split this up into two. I don't know if it really needs to be split up into two, but let's do it. So we're going to copy and install. We're going to install all these files here. These programs are going to be installed. And then we're going to install all these programs. And then we're going to change some of the settings in the computer. We've got to copy the sudo. And let's go to 9. And let's insert. Put my password in. And when we get to this one, you get a warning. And I would just say yes. And let's install. So it's installing all those packages, and that's done. So let's clear the screen. So next, I would copy and paste the second line in. And let's go back to the other workspace. And let's insert. Put my password in. And it's asking me there's 3. Let's pick number 3. So let's do QEMU full. Okay. And let's do the installation. So it's installing 131 packages. So it just took another couple seconds. I really didn't have to pause it. So let's clear the screen and let's go back to the other page. Oops. Let's go back to the other workspace. So now we installed everything that we need. Now we're going to put this command in. Let's go back over there. Let's paste it in. Okay, let's go back. And let's put, sorry, what we're going to do is change line 81 and 104. So we're going to go into this file and uncomment or activate a line 81 and 104, okay? So we're going to go back to here and let's clear the screen. Let's insert. And I'm just going to make this a little smaller. I think it's too big. There. So let's go down to, oops. Let's go down to 81. Jump. And actually my numbers are a bit off. So this is the line here. And actually now it's line 85. My numbers are a bit off and I apologize for that. But this is the line. What we want to do is take out the hashtag or that number sign and we want to activate this line. So I'm going to delete that. And now we can see the line is activated. Now let's go up to the top. And let's go down to 104. I guess my numbers are off a bit. Let's jump. And they are. Okay. And this line here with the 0770, this line here, we want to take out the number sign or the hashtag, and we want to activate that line. Let's delete it. And now that line is activated. So we have these two lines activated in this file. I activated this line and I activated that line. And now we're going to save the file. And let's clear the screen and let's go back to the other page. Now I'm going to copy in this command. Let's insert. And let's go back. And let's check out this line. Let's copy that. And I'm just going to copy and paste all these lines in. And me, in this virtual machine, my user is me. I didn't call my user Mensch. When I made this virtual machine a few weeks ago, I didn't call the user Mensch. I called my user me. So I'm me at Arch, and I belong to the libvirt group and me. So that's the thing is, we do groups who am I, because we want to make sure my user has become part of the libvirt group. Okay, so let's go back to the next one. I'm going to type in this line. Insert. And next I'm going to type in this line. I know it seems like kind of a hassle. It's a little hard installing this in Arch Linux. And, you know, and I'm just going to go back and keep copying the lines in. So the thing is that if you're installing this in Linux Mint or MX Linux, you're just going to go to the Software Center, download it, and install it. It's going to be like, bang, easy peasy. In Arch Linux, it's a little more complicated, okay? But it's not impossible or really extremely hard to do. So next, I'm going to copy this one. Let's go over. Let's paste it in. And let's go down here. Let's insert, paste it in. And right now it's telling me Virsh is inactive, but we're going to reboot. And when we reboot, this inactive should be changed to active. Okay. So now I'm going to do this one. Let's insert. Oh, beautiful. And we want to make sure everything is active and running. We want to make sure it's enabled. Enabled means it's going to be turned on when we reboot the system. And every time we start up our system, it's going to be enabled. And we can see now libvirt is active and running, which is good. Now I'm going to go back and we're going to reboot right here. So finally we're going to reboot. So I can close this, go here, and let's just reboot. Let's put my password in. Okay, so we've rebooted back into our system. And if you're using the awesome window manager with my configuration, you're just going to right click here. You're going to go down here to Virt-Manager. You're going to open it up. And there we are. We're in Virt-Manager. And right now I'm in a virtual machine of Arch Linux using Virt-Manager. So you can't go into a virtual machine using Virt-Manager, install Virt-Manager, and expect it to work. You can't do a virtual machine within a virtual machine, if that makes sense. But it is installed in the virtual machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close down my virtual machine. I'm going to go right into my hard drive and show you how to make a brand new virtual machine in Virt-Manager. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to shut this down. It works. And let's open it up. Let's open up my terminal. Let's just shut down. Shut down now. So I'm shutting down my virtual machine of Arch Linux. And I'm closing Virt-Manager. I'm closing everything down. I'm in my bare metal hard drive of Arch Linux with the awesome window manager. So when I want to make a virtual machine, this is what I do. First of all, I download the ISO, obviously, and I right click here. I turn on Virt-Manager, and these are all the virtual machines I have installed right now. I have Windows 11, Windows 10, Peppermint, MX Linux. Well, I'm not going to read all these. Now, I'm going to show you how to set up a new virtual machine, but I'm not going to actually go through a whole install. So what you want to do is, you want to click on this plus sign, and leave this line where it is. Then you want to go to forward. Then you want to click on browse. Then you want to click on browse local. And then you want to go in your home directory to where you have the ISO. So it might be in your download folder, it might be somewhere else. But wherever the ISO is, that's where you want to go. So right now, I'm going to click on this Linux Mint 21.2 Cinnamon ISO. This ISO came out in July, and I'm going to click it on. I'm going to open it. And it's clicked on by default to automatically detect the installation source, but you see this is blank. It says none is detected. So we can't go forward until we have something in this field. So if it doesn't automatically put something into this field right here, it won't enable us to go forward. So if it doesn't put something into this field, we're going to have to unclick this and then do a search. So let's do a search for Linux Mint. It would help if I spelled it right. So I don't have Linux Mint here, but this is the Linux Mint that's based on Ubuntu. So let's just do Ubuntu. And you can click on any of these. And actually, I wish they would get rid of this function. I really don't like it. But hey, what can I say? So I'm going to click it on. Let's just click on one of these. Let's do 23. Let's do 2310. It doesn't really matter, to tell you the truth. And let's go forward. Now I'm going to click on, now it's automatically set to 4 gigs of RAM. This memory here is 4 gigs of RAM. But of course, you could change it to be less RAM. I wouldn't change it to be less RAM, but you could make it more RAM. So adjust the RAM. Usually I give my virtual machines 4 gigs of RAM. The only one that I gave more was for my Windows 10 and my Windows 11, which you can see down here. I gave it 8 gigs of RAM. But all my Linux distributions are always set to 4 gigs of RAM for the virtual machines. And then the CPU, it's automatically set at 2. I usually kick this up to 4. and then I click on forward. Now this is the place where you make your hard drive. So it automatically went to 25 gig hard drive. I'm going to leave it there, but you could kick it up. Sometimes I kick this up to 40 gig or 50 gig. And then click forward. Now this I always change. This is the name that's going to show up down here. Like you see, I have MX23, LMDE5, Windows 10, Windows 11. This is the name that's going to show up there. So I'm going to change this to, you can call this whatever you want. Linux Mint, let's call it test. Okay, you can call it whatever you want. And let's finish it. So now it's finishing. And let's click that on, and let's click this on, and let's hit enter. And we're logging into the live ISO of Linux Mint in a brand new virtual machine. So now we're in the live ISO, and the thing is with Virt-Manager, you're always going to have to adjust the, well, I shouldn't say that. When you're on the live ISO, you're going to have to adjust the display. So I always go into here, well, this is Linux Mint, so type in display, and I'm going to adjust this to 1360. I like 1360 by 768 for my virtual machine displays, but you can put it to whatever you want. I'm going to click that and apply it. And I'm going to keep the configuration, and I'm going to close this. So now I'm in a brand new virtual machine of Linux Mint in the live version from the live ISO. So if I want to install it, I'm just going to click this on and go through the installer. Now I'm not going to install this, but if you click this on and install it, finish the installation and reboot into it, you'll have your brand new virtual machine. And it will be in this list. Here it is right here. It's called Linux Mint Test. So once you do your installation and reboot it, use it and shut it down to get back into it, you're just going to always go and click this on and it will take you back into it. Now let's click this. So when you're using your virtual machine, you can use it like this, where you have your hard drive down here, access to your hard drive down here, right? And if you click on this little box here, it makes it full screen. You can't even see the operating system in your hard drive. Now another thing is, so in this live ISO, we fixed the display. So it's full screen, right? I went into display. When you finish your installation, you're going to have to go back into display again, and you're going to have to adjust it. You're going to have to do it twice. It doesn't matter what distribution you install in your virtual machine. All the distributions are going to have to go through this in Virt-Manager. You're going to have to fix your display twice, but only twice. You're going to have to fix it on the live ISO, and actually you don't really have to fix it on the live ISO. But if you do fix it on the live ISO, when you finish your installation and you reboot into it, you're going to have to set it one more time. And then that's it. So you won't have to set it every time you log into the system. You're only going to have to set it twice. Once on the live ISO, and the first time you boot into your brand new installation, you set it, and then it's going to remember it. Okay? So we're in here. We're in the live ISO. So now if I want to go back to where I can see my hard drive, the installation on my hard drive, put this up here, and see here, we have this little button. Leave full screen. So if I click it on, now we've left full screen, and now I have access to my bare metal computer. And if I go back here, and if I want to make this virtual machine full screen, just click that on and it's full screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this down and go into an installed virtual machine. So now I shut it down, and because I didn't do the install, I won't be able to get back into it. And if I want to go back into it, I'm going to have to create a brand new virtual machine, you know, set the RAM and the hard drive and go through the whole process again. because I didn't finish the installation, or I didn't actually even start the installation. And I want to delete this, so I'm just going to right click it. I'm going to delete. I don't need that. Let's delete it, and it's done. So now I'm going to go into an actual installed version. So let's go into LMDE5. That's Linux Mint 5 based on Debian. I'm going to open it. I'm going to click on this start button. And I'm going to make it do this. Let's hit enter. And I'm going to make it full screen. And it's just booting up. Booting up into Linux Mint Debian number 5. Linux Mint Debian number 6 is going to be out soon. Now, I didn't check the website this weekend, but it might be out this weekend, or it might be out within another week. Probably Linux Mint 6 based on Debian will be out in another week or so. And it's coming. And when it does, I'm going to do a video on it. And I'm going to put my username in and my password in. I didn't encrypt this system. When Linux Mint Debian 6 comes out, I'll do an install and I'm going to encrypt it. And here we are. We are in Linux Mint Debian 5. So, like I said, I could put this down so I have access to my hard drive, my bare metal computer hard drive, and then I can go back to my virtual machine. And if I want my virtual machine to be full screen, I'm going to click on this icon there. Now, another thing you want to do is you want to go into virtual machine. You want to go into view. And I make sure scale display is on always. I don't want it on never. And I don't want it on only when full screen. I make sure scale display is on always. So I have a thumb drive here. I'm going to plug it into my bare metal computer. So now we see my virtual machine doesn't have access to the thumb drive. So I'm going to close this. And I'm going to minimize this. And I'm going to open up my bare metal computer. And you can see I have files on my thumb drive. Now, if I want my thumb drive to be connected to the virtual machine, I'm going to open up the virtual machine. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go redirect USB device. And this is it here. SanDisk Cruiser. So I'm going to click it on. I'm going to close it. And now it's connected to my virtual machine. So if I open up my file manager, there it is there. Okay. Now if I want to go back, let's close the file manager. I want my hard drive to have access to the USB. I'm going to just unclick it. And now my hard drive has access to the USB, and my USB thumb drive is no longer connected to my virtual machine. Now another thing is that let's say you want to get to the TTY in the virtual machine. So normally in the hard drive, when you're logged into your window manager or your desktop environment, if you want to get to the TTY, you're going to do Control Alt and push one of the F numbers. So you could put, in your hard drive, if you do Control Alt F3, you're going to be on TTY3. It will take you to TTY3. Or Control Alt F5 will take you to TTY5. But in the virtual machine, what you're going to do is put your mouse up at the top here and click on this little keyboard. I don't know if you can see it. You could click it on and just go, let's say we go to Control Alt 5. So now I'm in TTY5 of my virtual machine. Now, if I want to go back to my desktop environment, I'm just going to click on here and I'm going to click on F7. And I'm back on the desktop environment. Now, I don't know if you can see that. So if I make it so I can see my hard drive, if you click on here, you can also go this way, send key. And you can go there. Let's go to Control-Alt-4. And there we are. We're in the TTY. We're in TTY4 of my virtual machine. I go to Send Key. Let's go back to Control-Alt-7. Now we're back on the desktop. So you can go here, or if you're in full screen, you can go here. Click on this little keyboard. Control-Alt-F3, Control-Alt-7. In this video, I showed you how to download and install Virt-Manager in Arch Linux, and I showed you how to use it. Now, if you're using Virt-Manager in Linux Mint, MX Linux, or one of the easy-to-use distributions, it's easy to download. You just go to the Software Center and download it. I hope you learned something today, and if you enjoyed the video, please like it and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. I am the Linux Mensch. Bye-bye.